Hello, everybody.
All right, Ms. Safarasi. This is position 11, Bostic 24, PI 001578, Tariq Jamal Barnes. 40, wait, what is this? This is $25,000 good bond as of April the 25th. Wait, hold on a second. It's more, that's the, okay, here's the thing. Ms. Jackson, that's all I have on here. Some of it says released on original bond, released on, and I don't know what that bond is. I couldn't find that bond order.
I can explain it, Judge.
All right, so it's cruelty in the first, battery, two counts of cruelty in the third, and 1 count of criminal trespass.
Judge, it's only going to be cruelty in the first 1 count. One of the cruelties was dismissed at a preliminary hearing. Those other charges that you named out, he already posted bond on. That's why it says release on original bond for those charges.
Okay.
He's already paid bond. It's a separate case. They duplicated it. I try to get it all dismissed, but they've just put it as release on original bond.
All right, go ahead.
So Mr. Barnes, Judge, he's been in 120 days. How this case derived is the complaining witness is his ex-girlfriend's son. This incident actually happened about 6 or 7 months before his arrest. The girlfriend did not report it to police before then. The only reason she's reported this incident is after that they broke up and got into an incident. Then she reported him for this particular case. So what happened was there was an incident and he bonded out on those charges. And then she reported him for this incident that happened about 6 months prior to his arrest. And then they no bonded him, Judge. We went to prelim. They dismissed it. It's 1 count. The allegation is that essentially he was disciplining the child with a belt. And so then the allegation is that it went too far, essentially. Our defense is that that's not quite what happened, and that's really that the mom is creating a bigger mess for him. And that's just a little context about what's going on for Mr. Barnes. Like I said, Judge, he's been in 120 days. He can't afford this bond. And the state is not moving on this case. We do have a good address for him here in Georgia, and he can stay away from the incident location as well as the complaining witness and his mom. He does not have contact with them. He has no reason to have contact with them, and he does not want contact, Judge. So in terms of likelihood of reoffend or intimidating witnesses, we do not have that here. This is an isolated incident. And so, Judge, because of that, I'm asking for a reduction to not exceed $7,000 total.
All right, so is he going to live in Fulton County?
Yes, Judge.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
Judge, I may have missed it, but did Ms.
I'm sorry. Do you want to hear from Ms. Riley? Ms. Riley, if you take yourself off mute, if you can raise your right hand, ma'am. You swear a firm testimony you're about to give. There you go, your military right. You swear a firm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. I can't hear you. So, Ms. Riley, you may have to connect to a different audio. If you're going through Bluetooth, it may not be working, but while you're trying to work that out, I'll hear from Ms. Jackson.
And Judge,
can you hear me, ma'am?
All right, I can hear you now. Go ahead. I just want to know your position on bond.
Hold on. Repeat that for me, ma'am. Hold on. I might.
All right.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, I just need to know your position on bond and having contact.
Absolutely not, ma'am. The issue is that there was a case in Cobb. He was released on bond approximately a month after he offended. It was against my 5-week-old baby at the time. And
so I know that Ms. Sarfarasi is going to object. So the cop, I just need to know about, you don't want any contact, right?
Yeah, this isn't a preliminary hearing. You were very specific on what, and also he's entitled to a bond. And he has.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
All right, why don't you? Oh,
there we go. That's much better.
All right, Ms. Riley, why don't you listen? Let me hear. I'm gonna put you back on mute and let me hear from Ms. Jackson. Go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
Judge, did I miss Ms. Fawcett going over Mr. Barnes' criminal history?
He skipped me.
Oh,
okay. We would need to hear that because it's extremely.
Wow. See, she don't even speak when I do that.
Miss Safarasi started talking first, Judge,
Well,
to get that information correct.
Bostic,
he
why you
has-
gotta blame me?
He has 4 cycles. He's on probation out of call for simple assault, battery, cruelty sentence earlier this year for 12 months. Out of New York, there's 7 cycles. There's a criminal possession of a weapon, and then 2 old felonies for a couple for robbery and criminal sale. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
Judge, I did speak to Ms. Riley before court started today, and she did have a lot of information about prior incidences with them. Ms. Safarasi's indication that Ms. Riley is just someone trying to make a big deal out of this case is actually extremely disheartening. Mr. Barnes is alleged to have beat a 9-year-old so bad that they peed on themselves and was unable to sit in school the following day. The case in Cobb County, as Ms. Riley just said, is a case against a 5-year-old baby.
Judge, I have to object to this case with Cobb County. We're not here for Cobb County. His sentence is done.
Actually,
You need to
he
stop bringing
agreed.
up- hold on, you-
Actually, he agreed
Objection
at
to
the-
Ms. Riley speaking whatever she's about to say, Judge. Objection to everything. We're not here for Cobb County. We're here for this one case in Fulton County. Can we please focus in on what we're here and what is before the court? The court is here not to talk about Cobb County. We are not in Cobb County. We are in Fulton County.
Judge, I'm extremely alarmed that Ms. Safarasi is putting up such a fight to bring in this person's criminal history, which we put on the record on every single case. Again,
To get into the facts of that allegation, Judge, I'm objecting. We have the conviction. We understand there's a conviction, a prior history. We don't need to.
Hold on. Y'all are about to make Miss Jones mad, which is 10,000 worse than making me mad. One at a time.
And if it's Ms. Safarasi's time to speak, then the state is happy to wait. But if Ms. Safarasi can hold on while victims speak and while the state speaks, then I think that would be the proper court decorum. Ms.
I'll let you
Safarasi,
respond.
I will make my objection when I see fit.
Go ahead, Miss Jackson.
okay, and I'm going to continue to speak. As I stated, he has a criminal history that is extremely relevant because it is identical to the facts in this case. In Cobb County, he has a case where he slapped or battered or assaulted a 5-week-old baby. So your indication that this has never happened, that this is some type of one-off that would never occur is inaccurate. And the state has a right to respond to that. As you see, Ms. Riley has appeared today because she is extremely afraid for her and her children's life. And so if you think that the state is going to sit here and let you make a mockery of this court and of this victim because you don't think it's a big deal, then you are absolutely incorrect. Mr. Barnes has an extremely dangerous history. He committed these crimes. He has open cases. He has a probation case, all of which the victims are the children of Ms. Riley. If Ms. Safarasi thinks that's not important, then that will be for the court to discern. But as for the state, that is a very extremely dangerous person, and he is a danger to the victims in this case. He was a danger in Cobb County. He's a danger in Fulton County, and he deserves a bond that is reasonable under the facts of this case and the history that he has for himself. That is a conviction, not an allegation, as you like to normally say, Ms. Safarasi. He was convicted of assaulting a 5-week-old baby. So that is relevant to this case.
Judge, objection. The case before you is not about this 5-week-old child. That is not what's before you. It's about a 9-year-old that had happened allegedly 6 months that she failed to report until this alleged Cobb case had happened, Judge.
Ms. Safarasi,
Hold up. Miss Jones, do you need to take yourself off mute and yell at him?
Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Which Jones?
Hey y'all.
Tiffany Jones.
Yes, I really need everyone to speak one at a time. Honestly,
You don't even sound that mad, Miss Jones.
I know it may be. Listen. It's being recorded.
All right. So if you're finished, anything else, Miss Safarasi?
Yes, Judge. Again, like I said, this is not what we're here before. If this case was so important to the state as she wants to make it believe, why is he sitting 120 days without an indictment? Where is the state moving on this case, Judge? He has a bond. He is entitled to a bond. We are here because he cannot bond out, and the state is not respecting his rights as well. These are allegations. What is before you today, Judge, is an allegation. That is not a conviction. I understand we want to keep referencing this Cobb County case. Fine, that is a conviction. You can take that into consideration as a conviction, Judge. But in terms of what is before you, that is just trying to murky the water of what is before you, Judge. This is a case
Gotcha.
not involving that child, Judge. And also, we can rectify all of this by A, the state indicting this case and moving forward so we can have our day in court, or B, You can have a stay away, no contact. Judge, my client does not object. He has no reason to have contact. There's no reason
I
why
got it.
anybody
Oh,
involved in
Oh,
this
oh,
case should
stop,
be
what,
afraid.
stop, all right, Ms. Alfarossi, I got, what else, Ms. Riley? What else?
I feel like I'm not being heard, Your Honor,
no, no.
and it's really regarding me and my 4 children. When you've been abused for years by the same individual, you don't report things right away because you're fearing for your life. My son is in the vehicle right now. If you would like to speak to him about the abuse, then you are more than free to do so. He is in fear of his life. I am in fear of my life. My daughters are in fear of their life. We look over our shoulder everywhere we go. He has been released on bail, and he has definitely has repeated. As a matter of fact, when he was released on bond the last time, he was out on bond for 3 years, and he did worse things than he did the first time he was released on bond. This time, the abuse not transferred only to me, and to my newborn baby, it transferred to my oldest son. And my son is the sweetest child. He makes straight A's, and he has known this child since he was 2 years old. And so he has a hatred for us, and he has reoffended several times, and I have forgiven several times. But it's like when you let them out on bond, who knows how long this case is going to go back into court for it to be defended. And then at worst, we could be dead by that time. And so I'm really depending on you guys today to make a right decision based on the criminal history that he has had in the past, violent history, and he has pled guilty to the one in Cobb. And you say it doesn't matter, but he violated his bail the last time. The bail was violated last time, and he still left without any charges, and he's still left with no jail time. He's still left with just probation. And so now we're giving him a slap on the wrist every single time, and there's no comfort and no security for me and my children's safety. And as she's saying, let's forget about Cobb. Tell these children to forget about Cobb. Tell me for every time I've lost my home trying to escape this man, tell me to forget about Cobb. Tell my daughters who have lost their dad and seen them abuse me, tell them to forget about Cobb, because that's ridiculous. And then tell them to forget about in Fulton County when they had to see their brother be abused and recover from being beat on and being scared to death, locking themselves in the room and then double locking themselves in the closet. You tell them to forget. Tell those children to forget the trauma that they've experienced by the hands of this man, by hearing me getting beat through the walls. Tell those children to forget every single memory that they have of me getting dragged by my hair in the kitchen, getting sliced across my forehead by a knife, and tell me that he's not going to reoffend. And then when he reoffends, put the blood on your hands.
Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am. And I don't know what they did in Cobb, but this ain't in Cobb County. All right, so we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. If it's available, you're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, and medical, the only reason you leave your house, and report to probation if that's what you've got in Cobb County. No further contact with Benjamin Tate Riley, Tiffany Riley, let's see, Ayana Riley, or any other children. Let's see. As a matter of fact, stay away from all children unless they're your relatives, but none of her children, none of their children, nobody else's children. Stay away from 531 Carlton Point Drive in Palmetto, Georgia. Also, I think I already said no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Even if that ankle monitor is not available, sir, you will have a 24-hour curfew. Those are the only reasons you can leave. I'm leaving it at 25,000. Best of luck to you, sir.
You guys are the best. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.